Not even a coach who scrutinizes film of a player's every move and has an all-access pass-to-talk strategy and give him pep talks can totally control what the player does on or off the field. So, face it, it's a given that players in your fantasy lineup will make point-costing mistakes that are out of your control. But you shouldn't make the mistake of thinking that everything in your fantasy game is out of your influence. Fantasy football is a mix of skill and chance. A little side note here. We're not using the word luck because it sounds too much like mysterious forces are at work, determining whether you deserve to win or lose. We use the word chance because it reminds us that what happens randomly is not something we should take personally. Compare fantasy football with a game like Candyland, a game for little kids that's totally up to chance. How do you know if a game is all up to chance? Ask yourself, could I lose this on purpose? If you couldn't, it's up to chance. On the other hand, you have a game like chess, which you could lose on purpose because it's almost all skill. You can think of how skill and chance break down in other areas of life too. For example, driving requires a lot of practice to become skilled so you avoid accidents, but it's also subject to random chances, like debris falling off a truck in front of your car. So when it comes to fantasy, it'll help you identify which things are completely up to chance, which means they're out of your control. And then zero in on the things you have the potential to influence. In other words, what you can affect with your skill or knowledge as you set your lineup. So let's look at a more specific example. You can't predict when one of your strongest players will get injured in the middle of a game. Yeah, it's a bummer, but there's nothing you could have done about it beforehand, so let it go. But up until the start of the game, you can try to grow your skills. For instance, think about the strengths and weaknesses of the opposing defenses, and then start who you think has the best chances to get points. You could also consider how the weather might factor in. The weather's up to chance, but how you respond to it falls under your skills. So, for example, if it's going to be windy and rainy, coaches might try to play it safe by running the ball more. You can think about how that could affect what your players do, and therefore how many points they'll score. Alright, so let's put it all together. Even though in August you may dream about having the perfect fantasy season, the reality is that random chance events can chip away at it. But it's only when you think it's all over and throw in the towel instead of trying to improve the situation that it actually is. So, throughout the season, don't throw in the towel or your phone. In fantasy football, as in life, you can't control whether chance goes for or against you. But you can always improve your skills to get more influence over the situation. So first, identify what's possible to affect with skill, and then think about how you can grow your skill areas. What can you learn better so you're more likely to influence the outcome? Then use your improved skills to make every choice, no matter how small, contribute to the best overall outcome. So when something happens like your best player getting injured, don't beat yourself up. Instead, think about the skills you're going to work on this week and look forward to making choices that could improve your overall standings.